Chavos, ¿cómo están? Soy Jorge Lozano, aquí estamos en Crossover desde la Horror Fest y al lado de mí alguien que no necesita presentación, el maestro de las pesadillas, Mr. Robert Englund. How are you?
Hola.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay.
Nada.
Vamos a hacerle unas pequeñas preguntas al señor Robert. First of all, Robert, what is your opinion about the new technology over traditional makeup in the movies? You know, about the remake of 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street versus the original Freddy.
Well, I recently finished a film called The Fear Clinic, which will come out in February.
Okay.
And I worked with a terrific makeup effects guy named Robert Hall, who's done everything from Buffy the Vampire Killer all the way to Teen Wolf.
Oh.
And some great slasher franchise films called Chrome Skull. And Robert has been using a combination of practical effects combined with digital.
Okay.
So sometimes he will design the physical, practical effect and leave a space empty where he will insert for a few frames a digital effect.
Okay.
For instance, por ejemplo, a spider coming out of a cheek, something like that would be digital.
He's using a combination of traditional.
Yes, and I think that's okay. I think there's a time and a place for both. I think perhaps with the new Nightmare film, the makeup was almost too real. Freddy does not exist anymore in reality. He only exists in the mind, in the imagination of the people that he's haunting. So he is imaginary. He's a rumor. He's a myth. He's a story that's been told by the campfire or in the locker room in school. And so he exists a little differently in everybody's imagination. So the look of Freddy should be a little bit exaggerated, I think. And I think in the new one, they made him so real. It was quite real.
It was more real than the traditional Freddy.
Yeah, I think it was more like they'd almost were inspired. We were inspired by the burn victim scars from medical books. But then we made him, we just exaggerated it a little bit, like as if his skin melted into the face of a witch, almost, a male witch.
Well, you do video game. How was your experience about the video game Call of Duty Black Ops?
Well, I did a Call of the Dead, yes,
Yeah.
Call of the Dead, with the great Danny Trejo from Machete and a million other movies, Danny, and Michael Rooker from The Walking Dead, and Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy the Vampire Killer, and George Romero, the man that invented the zombie, practically, yeah, and we all play ourselves. But we did it on the Avatar stage. We did it motion capture.
You do the motion capture
Yeah,
of
we
the,
did it
of the
motion
character.
capture. So we were all wearing black turtlenecks and skin-tight tights, and we had the little white balls all over us, so that they capture 360 degrees and 3 dimensions of our own physical performances. And it's very tricky because the ceiling, the walls, the floor, everywhere is camera. So you're almost, it's 3-dimensional all the time. Well, it was kind of funny when Danny Trejo, Freddy Krueger, Michael Rooker from The Walking Dead, George Romero, and lovely Buffy the Vampire Killer, when we were all sitting around at lunch dressed with all the little white balls on us, we looked pretty silly. We have a little bit of a beer belly, now. So it was kind of funny, although Sarah Michelle Gellar looked pretty hot. She just had a baby and she still looked beautiful.
Well, the last question. Besides from Freddy Krueger, you are well known for the Freddy Krueger character, but besides from him, what other characters in your filmography defines you?
Well, I did a very great film back in the 70s called Stay Hungry with Jeff Bridges, Sally Field, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Scatman Crothers from The Shining, Joanna Cassidy from Blade Runner, and that was a great experience for me. I also starred with the great Henry Fonda and Susan Sarandon back in the 70s in a film called Last of the Cowboys. Many, 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 many movies back then. For my fans, my horror fans, I encourage them to see Behind the Mask,
Behind the mask.
The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is a great film I did a couple of years ago. Wonderful, wonderful, deconstructed meta horror. And now I have a new movie out called The Last Showing, which is out right now on Netflix and on demand. And it's terrific. It's a thriller. The Last Showing. And what that means is like the last screening at a movie theater, the last showing, the midnight movie. And then I have a new one coming out called Fear Clinic in February. I have a terrific version, kind of like a Hammer film, of Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
That was done in 1990. That's fun for fans to see.
Fear Clinic, February 2015.
That's in 2015 in February. Right now, Last Showing. You can download it on Netflix or download it on demand, and it comes out on DVD at the end of this month for Halloween.
Ya saben, si quieren ver algo del señor Robert Englund, Last Showing en Netflix y próximamente en febrero, Fear Clinic. That's all de parte de nosotros. Aquí nos despedimos. Muchísimas gracias por su tiempo. Thank you very much for your time, Robert.
All right.